Hey everyone, thanks so much for visiting my channel, Movement with Cailin. Today is video number 7 in my Pilates for Pain Relief series. And today's focus is on the knees. So the knees and knee pain in particular is something that we see a lot of in our studio and with a lot of our clients. So a lot of people come in with knee pain. And there's definitely things that you can do for that. So we're going to do a little bit of a strengthening of particular areas, particularly the quads today, that are going to help take some pain out of the knees, as well as strengthening the outer hips and glutes that help really support our body in that standing and walking position. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Make sure you have with you a foam roller, or even just a large blanket or towel would do really well, something you can roll up really tight. Something, by the way, before we get started, the roller, this would be a great time before we do these exercises to use the roller to roll out the legs. So you can find all kinds of videos online of rolling out the quads and the IT bands and even the inner thighs. And that really helps to loosen those muscles around in the legs and around the knees for some better work. So just as a side note, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. So go ahead and sit here facing the side and just have your foam roller handy. We won't need it just yet. And I want you to go ahead, we're gonna lengthen one leg here. So let's lengthen our left leg first. And we're gonna lean back onto our hands. And I want you to think about engaging your quad muscles. So you're gonna flex through your left ankle and really think of lifting up through your quad and engaging through here. So if you can see that on my leg, you might not be able to, but you'll be able to feel it and see it in your own leg, and then just let that release. So again, you're gonna flex your ankle and really think of pulling up here into the upper quad and then release. Just do a couple more. So you're gonna flex the ankle, pull up, squeeze, and release. Good, last one. You might even feel some work here in the belly as you start to pull up. I know I do there. And then release. Now, you're gonna go ahead and come down a little bit farther so you're on your forearms, leaning back. And we're gonna find that lift in our quad as you flex the ankle. And then I want you to start and lift and lower that leg. So you're keeping that engagement here in the quad. And we're not going up that high, maybe no more than a foot or so off of the floor. So you're lifting and lowering. So a lot of quad work here, and that's the area that we're trying to strengthen. So we're lifting and lower. Let's do 5, 4, last 3. Check in, are you still contracting that quad? Last 2, and last 1. Good, and then lower that leg down. All right, sit back up. Let's go ahead and straighten our other leg. So we're gonna go ahead and flex through that right ankle, pull that right quad up. So this is basically you're getting a knee extension here, leg extension, okay? And then you're just gonna go back and forth between that. You're gonna let it release and relax. And then you're gonna flex through that ankle, pull that quad up, and then release. Good, let's do that a couple more times. Squeeze, lift up in that quad. Feel like you're lifting your kneecap higher onto your leg, and then release. Last one, flex, lift, and release. Now go ahead and bring yourself all the way to the floor. And just so you guys can see this leg a little bit better, I'm gonna bring that left leg to the floor. You can keep your left leg bent. And you're gonna go ahead and flex through that right ankle, pulling your quad in and up. And then you're gonna lift and lower that leg. Again, just strengthening that upper leg, that quad here. This side I can feel must be a lot weaker than my other side, because I'm feeling quite a bit of work there in that right quad. Good. Let's do 4 more. 4, last 3, and 2, and 1. Good, and then lower that down. All right, so Grab your roller now or your towel or blanket, and you're gonna place it right underneath the knees, and then you're gonna roll all the way to the floor. So you're gonna have your arms down by your sides. We'll start with that left leg first again. So this one, you're gonna be, because the knee is bent, we're gonna find some extension in that leg as we lift the quad. So as you start to flex through that left ankle and pull up on that quad muscle, you're gonna go ahead and extend that leg out and then lower it back down. And we'll do the same thing, staying on that side. Lift and extend and lower. Good. So not a very big or fancy exercise here, these ones that we're starting out with, but they're definitely effective at strengthening those muscles above the knees to help support you a little bit better. Okay, let's do one more on this side. Extend, lift that quad, and then lower down. Now go ahead and let that left leg relax. We're gonna switch to our other side. So now we'll flex through that right ankle as we start to pull up on that quad, extend that leg, and then we lower. So this is just taking that last exercise just a little bit further by adding the bending and the straightening of that knee. So we lift and lower. Let's do 3 more here. Good, lift and lower. Last one, lifting up on that quad, extending that leg, and then lower it back down. Okay, so go ahead and remove your roller now and go ahead and bring it off to the side. I don't think we're gonna need that the rest of the class. Now we're gonna straighten the legs and we're gonna do a straight leg lower and lift here. So we're gonna do more of a bigger lift and lower, getting more into our abdominals as well. So let's start by bending the right knee, placing your foot on the floor. Start to flex through that left ankle. So you start to contract the quad and then lift that leg up and then lower it down. Now we're not gonna bring it all the way to the floor. Keep it at a hover. Now your leg may not come as high, and that's perfectly fine. You may be tight in the hamstrings and even the back of the knee. So you may only come to here, and that's perfectly fine too. Wherever you're at, make sure though that you're keeping the back of your ribs pulling down onto the mat and your pelvis is staying nice and level. Let's do 3 more. Last 2. Last one, lift and lower. All right, we're gonna switch to the other side. So place that left foot on the floor, bending the knee. Go ahead and extend that right leg out. Flex through the ankle, lift through your quad, and then we start to bring that leg up and lower. Good. Just moving with control. Last 3 and 2. Last 1 and lower. All right. Now we're gonna do that same thing in a turned out position. So I want you to bring that left leg back to the floor, right knee is bent. You're gonna turn that left leg out in your hip socket so that your knee and your toes are gonna come off to the side. We're getting a little bit more inner leg work here and also outer glute as well. So we're gonna start to lift that leg up and then lower it down. This one may not come up as high, and that's perfectly fine. Just keep thinking of pulling up in that quad, flexing through that ankle, finding that contraction here. Good, lift up and lower. Last 3, 3 and 2. Last 1 and lower. Now bend that knee, place that foot down. Extend your right leg out. We'll turn that leg out in the hip socket. So making sure that pelvis is staying where it is, just that leg is finding that external rotation. Flex through that right ankle, and then we lift and lower here. Lift and lower. So if you are a runner or probably more runners than cyclists I see with knee issues, or if you do a lot of, plyometrics or jumping sort of workouts, the knees can definitely take a beating. So it's important to make sure that you're doing what you can to keep your knees nice and healthy. I do see quite a few people that have had knee replacement surgeries or some sort of surgery around the knee. So it's very common, a lot more common than you might think. Last one, lift and lower. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and bring both feet to the mat, bending your knees. So we're gonna do some bridging here. So we're gonna strengthen now the glutes and the outer hips, as well as you'll find a little bit of a stretch here in the front of your quads and hip flexors, which we did just work. So you're gonna bring your arms down by your sides, have your legs in parallel. You're gonna go ahead and press into your feet as you lift the hips, just with a flat back, lifting them up and then lowering back down. And then we'll do that again. We press up to lift and then lower. So feel more work here on the back of the leg. And your glutes here are really, really important, like I mentioned at the beginning, for walking, running, just standing, single leg balance. That's really, you're gonna find a lot of strength and support there. And it's important to work on that in order to take the pressure off of the knees. Good, let's do one more. Lift and hold. Now transfer your weight to your right leg. And I want you to, if you can, start to float your left leg into tabletop. Okay, and you're just gonna hold. You're really finding a lot of strength here on that right glute. Keep pressing up and lifting. Try not to let the hips sink down. 2 more breaths. Last one. Go ahead and place that that foot down. We're gonna switch to the other side. If you need to come down here in between, you have to give yourself a rest. Feel free to do that. We're gonna switch, placing our weight into our left leg. Bring that right leg to tabletop. Good, and we're just gonna hold here. A lot of work happening in our core here. Finding that core strength and stability. Again, really press into your heel of your left foot as you lift the hips and hold. For 3, 2, and 1. Place that right foot down and then lower the hips all the way to the floor. All right, we're gonna find a little bit more strength here on the outer hips and glutes. We're gonna come to a side lying exercise. So I want you to come onto your left side first. Go ahead and bring your left elbow down onto the mat and slide yourself to the back edge of your mat and then bring your legs forward. Now, for a little bit more stability, you can bend this bottom knee because we're only going to be moving this top leg first. So go ahead and find that position, straight line, crown of your head to your pelvis, belly pulling in. And we're just going to do some side leg lifts here. So go ahead and flex through your ankle. And you're going to go ahead and lift that leg up and then lower it down. So make sure that your hips are staying stacked so that you're not tilting this top hip back, which is very common, because when we start to do that, we're actually not getting the work in the right area. So once we keep the hips stacked and we start to lift that leg, we start feeling a lot of work through here. Good. So think of reaching that leg away as you pull your belly in and up. Let's do 4. Last 3. So you're still finding that quad contraction here. 2. And last one, lift and lower. Now bend your knees so your legs are stacked now. Now keep your feet together. And then you're gonna let this top knee open up here. Now this right hip is really tight for me. So I can't go very far when I lift up. And I wanna make sure again that my pelvis isn't tilting backwards. So that again is really isolating that work into this area here, which is what we're looking for. So let's do 6 and 5. Good, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, closing the knees. We're gonna go ahead and sit on up, and we're gonna do all of that on the other side. So go ahead and sweep your legs around. This time bringing your right elbow to the floor. Hips are back towards that back edge of your mat, and you're gonna lay those legs out. All right. Again, bottom knee can be bent for a little bit more support. Go ahead and flex through that top ankle, stack those hips, keep them there as you lift and lower this leg. So again, we're pulling up on that quad here, finding that strength. Good. Always breathing, always releasing and relaxing the tension in the shoulders. Let's do 5 and 4. This is my weak side. I'm really feeling this over here for 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Go ahead and bring the foot down, bend the knees, and bring those knees and feet on top of each other. Hips stay stacked, and then we find the clamming as we keep the feet together and open those knees here. Yeah. So knee issues can stem from all kinds of things, so it's really individual. Sometimes, like I said, it could be things that we're doing consistently over time, as far as exercising and just putting a lot of wear and tear on the knees. Sometimes part of it is due to alignment, kind of how our bodies are aligned. All our bodies are aligned a little bit differently. So that's where Pilates can help to find more of that proper alignment in the body to get the legs in a better positioning. Let's do 1 more. Good, and lower. All right. We're gonna finish up with some stretching. So as I'm sure you know, strengthening is key, but stretching is also super important. So you should be doing a little bit of both every single day. We're gonna come onto our back. So roll yourself all the way down. Go ahead and bring your knees in towards your chest. And then I want you to keep your right leg in as you extend that left leg out to the floor. And now since we got that work in our glute here, we're just gonna go ahead and stretch it out with a little twist. So you're gonna bring your left hand onto the outside of your right knee, twist over to the left as you bring your head over to the right. Just taking a couple more deep breaths there. Keep that right shoulder grounded into the floor. Good, 1 more breath. All right, we're gonna stay on this side for another exercise. We're gonna bring our left foot to the floor as we cross our right ankle over our left knee. So we're gonna find a figure 4 stretch. So I want you to go ahead and thread your hands behind your left leg. And you're gonna flex both your ankles as you open your right knee out that way, so farther away from you. It's gonna find that stretch in that hip there and in that glute. Again, try to relax those shoulders here. If you are super tight and you just wanna keep your foot on the floor and open that knee out that way, that works perfectly fine. Do 1 more breath like that. And I want you to bring your left foot to the floor, keep your right ankle crossed over your knee, and then you're gonna start to drop your left knee and right foot to the floor. So they're all gonna come as one unit. Then you're gonna grab onto your right knee with your left hand as you start to pull the knee down towards the floor. It's really gonna get a decent stretch here on again, the side of the hip and glute there. So just take a couple more deep breaths here. Last one. All right, let's go ahead and bring that leg back to center. Good, pull that leg in towards your chest 1 last time. And then extend that leg to the floor. And then bring that left leg in. We're gonna do all of that on this other side. So grab onto the outside of your left knee with your right hand, open that left arm out to the side. You can bend your elbow into a more of a goalpost arm if that feels comfortable for you. Left shoulder sinking into the floor. Good, one more breath here. All right, bring it back up through center. This time, bend your right foot, place it on the floor, cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex your feet, and either keep the feet on the floor as you open up that left hip, or go ahead and thread your arms behind your right leg, open that left hip out to the side, and then pull that right leg in. Keep that pelvis in a nice flat, neutral position. That's gonna help you find more of that stretch than if you were to kind of pull the hips with you. You wanna keep your hips grounded as you pull that leg in. Open up that knee. All right, now bring that right foot to the floor. Keep your left ankle crossed over, and then twist your whole right knee and your left foot over to the right till it hits the floor. And then go ahead and grab onto your left knee with your right hand as you pull that leg down. A couple more breaths here. Seeing if with each exhale you can just release and relax a little bit more tension. Now go ahead and press that leg away. As you press the hand into the inner leg, reaching, just a little bit of a different stretch there. And then go ahead and bring it back to center. Again, pull that left leg into your chest one last time. Now both knees can come in, and then go ahead and rock yourself up to seated. And you have finished your knee exercises for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel. We have lots of other Pilates for pain relief exercises. We have a special playlist for that, and please visit that and let us know what you think. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.